Alright, all you trash kickers, this is TBrown0065. Welcome back to another discussion episode here. The reason why I want to have a talk is because this stuff is very concerning to me. Because I've been just over the funk over the past few days. And what am I talking about here? Answer is self-employment tax returns, okay? Now, here's how the IRS goes about determining if you're self-employed or not. Well, their definition is if you are a sole proprietor for your business, an independent contractor, or if you're a freelancer, you're considered self-employed, okay? Now, you would think that if you're a person who's making a livable income off that stuff, only in that instance you'd be required to file and pay self-employment taxes, right? No, it is not like that at all. You're thinking of W-2 employees, okay? The way the law works is if your net earnings are above $400 a year, guess what? You gotta file and pay self-employment tax, and yeah, that includes any side hustles that you have. Then yeah, you gotta pay self-employment tax. And the way in the United States, the tax rate is 15.3%, and 92.35% of your income is subject to self-employment tax. So that means you'd be paying a total of 14% of your income, like total. Okay. Now, some of you may ask, well, okay, what's the deal here? Well, the reason why is because I am against this type of law in place, especially now with new tax reforms in place, where even people who are just earning side hustles are only making like a handful of money, where they're required to file and pay self-employment tax. I mean, I know there's a lot of articles talking about it. And you want to know what's worse is if you tried to tell it to the elders that you live with, they're going to say, like, oh, you don't make enough money to get taxed on. They're just saying out only because they don't know anything about self-employment tax law, where they don't know that if you're doing any side hustles, to the IRS, you're considered self-employed. And yes, I'm against this type of law because why? Well, the reason for that is because if you're only making a few $100s a year, you can't live off that kind of money, okay? $400 a year is not something you can live off of, okay? If you're only making $400 a year, the question is, how are you going to be able to pay your bills? How are you going to be able to afford insurance, okay? Answer is you can't, because, you don't make that kind of money, okay? If you want to make a living, you got to be making at least thousands of dollars a month, okay? Especially now with inflation. So these self-employed people who are just earning a side hustle, they're already devastated by inflation. And because of that, they can't afford to lose any more money, okay? They can't afford to have any money taken from them. And when it comes to filing taxes, and yeah, it's tough for people who are self-employed, especially if you got multiple sources of income. It's like, how are you going to go about reporting all that stuff, okay? And I know some of you argue, oh, why don't you just get a tax professional to do it for you? Okay, you want to know why? Because it costs money, okay? If you were to consult someone and have that person who's in a finance field do the taxes for you, usually you gotta pay hundreds of dollars out of your pocket, and guess what? You can't claim that deduction on your tax returns. No, you cannot. And even if you're a person who uses an accountant to do the taxes for you, well, guess what? Accountants make mistakes. And if something happens, like if the accountant has made a mistake on your tax return, well, guess what? Liability's on you, not the accountant. So, and if something happens, like if you're doing, taxes by yourself, and if something happens, like if you, made a mistake on your return, guess what? The IRS is going to come back to get you, and that's the stuff that I'm against. And I don't know, and if you even, and the thing about self-employment tax and the reason why I'm against this type of stuff, and I just feel like the IRS is trying to screw people over. Okay? Oh, are you daunted by our new tax laws? Are you daunted by our by the tax procedures? Oh, well, you still gotta file anyways. Hey IRS, I got news for you. How about take this? That's what you can take. Okay? Because you know you're just trying to fuck people over. You realize that, don't you? You're just like the young black males on Facebook and other platforms hiding behind scam profiles, taking people's money. You're just trying to bully people. That's what you're trying to do, IRS. I'm not trying to shit on your parade, but that's what you're trying to do. And don't go, oh, well, we use that money so we can, that way we can run programs that'll help benefit. No. Don't hand me that excuse. Don't hand me any excuses, okay? Because what you're doing is harmful to fellow Americans, okay? That's what you're doing, okay? Now, like I said before, if you're self-employed, like if you're a freelancer, I can understand that if you're a person who's earning a livable income, in that instance, yeah, I would be okay with these people getting taxed on. But people who are just earning a few $100s a year, you should not be taxing these people because, one, is it's not the type of money you can live off of, and secondly, you know, inflation's already a problem in the United States, okay? And a person making only $400 a year off of side income, especially if he's got no other income, you know, especially if that's the case, that person can't afford to buy a whole lot. And taxing these people, you're just making things worse for people, okay? I don't care what anyone says. I mean, yes, I sound very bitter, but this is a serious problem, okay? And here's the thing, and you know what? And this tense political climate that we're living in is contributing to a lot of problems. You know, we're dealing with terrorism, we're dealing with suicide. There are so many things that are going on because of this climate that we're living in. And the thing is that, like, when it comes to self-employment tax law, if you try to contest it in court, well, guess what? They're just going to turn you down. They're going to say, nope, it's the law. You got to file. You got to pay, or we're taking your money, or we're going to put you in jail, and you're going to have a record that'll follow you for the rest of your life. You're just trying to make everyone look bad, okay? That's the problem. You're making the innocent people look bad, accusing them of, like, tax evasion or tax fraud or whatever. You're just trying to make the innocent people look bad. Don't hand me any fucking excuses, okay? You're nothing but human garbage, and you should be ashamed of yourself for what you're doing, okay? And as far as gaslighting is concerned, gaslighting is another problem, too. I may or may not have mentioned it earlier in this discussion, but you know, if you tried to tell, you know, your elders that you live with, saying, oh, well, this this tax law, it says I have to file taxes at above $400 a year on my side hustles. You don't want to know what the elders are going to say. They're going to say, oh, don't worry, you don't make enough money to get taxed on. Which I might have actually said it earlier in this video, but oh well. I mean, I do have to re-emphasize it because this is a problem, because this is going to cause the self-employed people to not file taxes, and you want to know what's going to happen is eventually the IRS is going to, you know, catch on to that, and they're going to start sending letters to the self-employed people who are only making a few $100s a year, saying that, you know, they owe a tax penalty, or they may even face, you know, more severe repercussions. And I feel like at this rate, I mean, I don't know, America is turning into China. And if you don't know what China is like, oh man, you do not want to live in fucking China. Okay? China it's a communist country, and I feel like America is just one step away from that. Okay? And you know what? And the leftists out there who are okay with the tax reform bills, or whatever the case may be, I'm ashamed of you. You should not advocate for that kind of stuff. You should be against it. okay? Because you basically want, if you're a person who goes, oh well, that's why you do, that's why you should be a W-2 employee instead. There's people out there who can't find jobs. You realize that, don't you? And then they're still trying to find ways to earn some kind of money, okay? And if you're okay with these people getting taxed on, who are only earning a few $100s a year, you're fueling corruption in our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And to the IRS out there who like to bully people and try to make the innocent people look bad, this is just so you know, I am extremely disappointed in you, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And I think you could be better than this, okay? Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention, too, is that, I mean, as far as, COVID money is concerned, and another thing that I'm pissed off about is the fact that, President Joe Biden, you want to know what he's done? Is that he's pissed away our tax dollars on illegal immigrants and prisoners. Okay, and they're bad people. Okay, now look, I don't have issues with immigrants. Okay, I'm not concerned about that. What I'm concerned about is people moving into our country illegally. Okay, that's the stuff that I have problems with. Okay, it's not immigrants themselves. It's when they're immigrating to our country illegally. That's the stuff I'm against. And our president, he's basically supporting these people. He's supporting illegal immigrants and criminals who are in prison. Okay? And now, as far as, what I said about the black males hiding behind fake accounts, I mean, yes, there are female scammers out there. I'm very well educated about that. And there's people out there who are non-blacks that engage in scams. And you know what? Those people are pieces of garbage too, just as much as the black male scammers. So it's not their race or their gender or whatever that makes them bad people. It's the stuff that they do, okay? And that's something I want to address to you about. So if you think that I'm being discriminatory, well, guess what? I'm not. I'm all about holding everyone equally accountable, okay? And like I said before, when it comes to these tax reforms and other shit going on, I don't know, man. This is putting our country in a bad situation. And if it weren't for our government, like recklessly spending our tax dollars, if it weren't for that, we would not be in so much debt. Okay? And like I said before, I do not trust the IRS. I do not trust the government. And I think these people should be ashamed of it because all they care about is power. They take people's money because they want power. They don't do things for the good. No, they're just trying to screw people over. That's what they're trying to do. And yes, I am definitely ashamed of them for what they're doing to us. And like I said, all this stuff, it's absolutely pathetic what they're doing. Okay? And they should totally be ashamed of themselves. This is TBrown0065 signing out. Have a good one.